In the heart of the galaxy, a silent war had been raging for millennia, unnoticed by most sentient races. The Valkor, an ancient race of pure energy, controlled the fabric of reality. They existed beyond time, subtly shaping civilizations, keeping power balanced so that no single species ever became dominant. To them, life in the physical realm was nothing more than an interesting anomaly, a fragile experiment that required constant curation. Until humanity arrived. Humans had appeared late on the galactic stage, a blip in cosmic time. To the Valkor, humanity was insignificant at first, flesh-bound, limited by linear time, and struggling just to escape their own planet's gravity well. But there was something different about them. Something the Valkor didn't understand: a stubborn refusal to accept limits, to bow to the natural order. As humanity expanded, they pushed the boundaries of technology, philosophy, and even reality itself. They discovered faster than light travel, terraformed inhospitable worlds, and developed artificial intelligences that could outthink their own creators. But their greatest achievement, the one that caught the Valkor's attention, was their accidental discovery of resonant energy manipulation, a technology that allowed them to tap into the very fabric of spacetime. The first instance was a fluke. A Terran research vessel, the Forge, working near the supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy, accidentally generated a resonance that allowed them to momentarily break free of the physical laws of the universe. Time bent around them. Space warped. They saw the universe not as a collection of stars and planets, but as a malleable thing, an object that could be reshaped at will. For the Valkor, this was a crisis. Humanity, without even realizing it, had discovered a pathway to their own power. They could not allow a species bound by flesh and time to access the secrets of the universe. And so, the war began. The human ascendancy. The Valkor struck swiftly, attacking human colonies from the shadows. Their methods were subtle at first, undetectable manipulations of space-time that caused ships to disappear, entire star systems to collapse into black holes. For most of humanity, it appeared to be a series of unfortunate disasters. But the minds at the Terran Science Collective suspected otherwise. They had glimpsed something during the Forge's accident, an intelligence behind the universe's new anomalies. Admiral Lena Karras was one of the few who knew the truth. She had seen the data, understood the patterns, and was one of the few humans who had made direct contact with the Valkor, or at least their representatives. They called themselves the Shepherds of Time and warned humanity to stop meddling in forces beyond their comprehension. But Karras was not the kind to bow to intimidation. "We don't stop," she had said in a secret meeting of the Science Collective. "No one tells us where we can or can't go. Not even gods." And so, humanity didn't stop. They built the Eon Forge, a massive station capable of manipulating resonant energy at an even greater scale. It was humanity's greatest gamble, a machine that could bend spacetime on command. They knew the risks. One miscalculation could destroy entire sectors of the galaxy. But they also knew the Valkor wouldn't give them a choice. The day the Forge was activated, the Valkor appeared in force. No longer subtle, they manifested as titanic energy constructs, materializing in the heart of the Terran Empire. To humans, they looked like gods, brilliant, formless beings of pure light and power. Admiral Karras stood on the bridge of the Genesis, humanity's flagship, and stared into the eyes of a Valkor emissary. It shimmered on her view screen, a figure too bright to look at directly, its voice resonating through the ship's speakers. "You were given life to be part of the grand experiment," it said. "You've overstepped your bounds." Karras didn't blink. "We weren't given anything. We earned our place. And we'll go as far as we can. Your kind cannot comprehend the forces at work," the Valkor warned. "Continue, and you will destroy yourselves." Karras smiled coldly. "We've heard that before. But we never stop." The final stand. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Valkor ships, ethereal and impossible, tore through human defenses, their attacks warping reality itself. Planets crumbled, Stars imploded and entire fleets vanished in an instant. But humanity had prepared. The Aeon Forge unleashed its power, bending space-time in ways even the Valkor hadn't anticipated. The laws of the universe became fluid, mutable. For every human ship that fell, another was reborn from the fractured timelines, appearing out of nowhere, stronger and faster than before. "We control time now," Karis declared as her fleet engaged the Valkor. "We're not afraid of your rules." The Valkor realized too late that they had underestimated humanity's will to survive. The humans weren't just using the forge as a weapon, they were learning from it. With each engagement, human scientists discovered more about the nature of space-time, refining their tactics, becoming more adept at using the very powers the Valkor had tried to keep from them. At the height of the battle, the forge generated a resonance so powerful that it began to collapse the local space-time bubble. Both human and Valkor ships were caught in the distortion, flickering in and out of existence. "We have to shut it down," one of Karis's officers shouted. "No," Karis replied, her voice firm. "This is what we came for." The forge continued to pulse, its energy radiating outward, rewriting the laws of physics across the battlefield. The Valkor constructs began to falter, their forms dissolving as they lost their grip on reality. "You cannot win," the Valkor emissary said, its voice breaking apart as it struggled to maintain its presence. "You are playing with powers beyond your control." Karis's eyes burned with defiance. "Maybe, but we play to win." With a final pulse, the forge completed its resonance cycle. Time and space snapped back into place, but not as they had been before. The Valkor were gone, their energy dispersed, their constructs annihilated. Humanity stood alone, battered but victorious. The aftermath. In the months that followed, the galaxy slowly returned to a fragile peace. The Valkor had been driven back, their influence shattered. But humanity knew they hadn't won through strength alone. They had tapped into forces they barely understood, and the consequences of their actions would ripple across the universe for millennia. Admiral Karis stood aboard the Genesis, looking out at the stars. They were still there, unchanged, but she knew that the universe itself had been altered in ways even she couldn't fully comprehend. Humanity had crossed a line, one that couldn't be uncrossed. "Do you think they'll come back?" Captain Harris asked, standing beside her. Harris didn't answer right away. She didn't know. The Valkor were ancient, powerful beyond measure, and their defeat felt temporary, like a pause rather than a victory. "Maybe," she said at last. "But next time, we'll be ready." The captain frowned. "Do you think we'll ever understand what we've done? What the forge really is?" Karis smiled faintly. "Understanding isn't always necessary. Sometimes survival is enough." As the Genesis sailed through the quiet of space, Karis knew that humanity's story was far from over. They had proven themselves in the eyes of the universe. They had defied gods and won. But the price of that victory was still unknown, and somewhere, in the distant corners of the galaxy, the Valkor were watching. And they would be back.